Welcome to the Overstock Academy weekly podcast, where we help online sellers go from amateur sellers to elite online sellers in 8 weeks or less. We focus on finding on-sold name brand store Overstock products and reselling them online in places such as eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and even your own website. Overstock products are the same highly profitable name brand products that you know and trust, which basically means that if you do it right, they almost sell themselves. And the do it right part is what this podcast is all about. Hello again, Overstock Nation. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another jam-packed episode. So once again, today's episode was inspired by another Overstock Academy member, and his name is Paul. We're going to actually start today's episode off with his question first. So Paul wrote in and he said, in your introductory materials that you used to market this training, you indicated that Overstock items were the most profitable items to sell and that you tried many other options, including private label products. Other trainers and online sales consultants suggest that the holy grail is private labeling, which has the highest profit margins. They actually recommended that I begin with simple retail arbitrage. For example, that's buying products on clearance at Walmart and reselling them, moving to getting wholesale products from vendors, and then to private label. I was intrigued by your comments that Overstock is the best way to go. Can you provide a little more guidance based on your experience as to why you came to this conclusion? So this is a fantastic question. So let's go ahead and dive into the answer. So now I do want to mention though that even though Paul didn't ask specifically about dropshipping, I am going to throw this in here too because we do get a ton of questions about dropshipping. Before we get started though, allow me to provide some definitions to some of these product sourcing methods. So if you've never heard of them before, you can become familiar with the lingo. The first one is retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. And this is a fairly simple concept. It's when a retail store such as Walmart or Target sells a product either online or in the store for a certain price. Now you purchase that product and you sell it for a higher price yourself and you pocket the profit. It's pretty simple, right? So online arbitrage is basically finding the products online, while retail arbitrage is finding them at a physical store. Now, although the concept is simple, there are two main questions that newcomers have. The first one is, how do I determine which products are profitable before I buy? And the second is, how do I sell the products once I have them in hand? The second way to source is drop shipping. Now, this is a method in which the retailers, in this case it would be you do not keep the goods in stock, but instead you transfer the customer's order and shipment details to either the manufacturer, another retailer, or a wholesaler, who then ships the goods directly to the customer. That means that you don't really carry or hold the inventory, and as soon as your buyer places the order, you then purchase it from the wholesaler and you have it shipped to the buyer directly. It would seem like the best of both worlds, doesn't it? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too when I first started out. But hang on with me and I'm going to tell you what a nightmare drop shipping actually can be. The third way of sourcing is with the private labeling. So this is where you buy a generic product, then you sell it under your own brand. A private label product is manufactured by a third-party manufacturer and sold under a retailer's brand name. In this case, the retailer would be you. Now, as the retailer, you specify everything about the product, what goes in it, how it's packaged, what the label looks like, and you pay to have it produced and delivered to your store. This is in contrast to buying products from other companies with their brand names already on them. Now, you can sell private label products anywhere, but most of what you are mostly going to see the online gurus pushing is how to do this within the Amazon platform. Now, you could potentially make some great money doing this, but getting it up and going is where most online sellers meet shipwreck. Essentially, the business involves finding generic products that are already selling well on Amazon, create your own packaging and logos, and marketing them better than your competition. Now, if you remember in a previous episode, I detailed my journey from getting fired to starting a local business to selling online. Now, on this journey, I tried different sourcing methods and I took a lot of courses and trainings and sold a wide variety of products. In this episode, I will explain why I opted for Overstock sourcing for my online business as well as why I stuck to it. Let's go ahead and start with retail or online arbitrage. Again, this is when you purchase a product and you sell it for a higher price yourself and you pocket the whole entire profit. I used to do this quite a lot when I started out. What I would do is every time I would go into the store, I would hit up the clearance section with my handy dandy smartphone. I would compare prices in the store with the online prices as well as the sales stats. If it made sense, I would buy the item, list it, and resell it online. I would do that at almost every store that I visited. I would even do this at thrift stores. Now, later in this episode, we'll talk a little bit about thrifting, and I'm going to give you an insider perspective that you probably haven't heard before that will completely blow your mind about thrifting, so stay tuned for that. Now, as you can imagine, going from store to store trying to find deals was very time consuming, and even though at first it was fun, more and more I was getting burnt out. Plus, the uncertainty was quite discouraging. Every time I left my house, I didn't know what I was going to come back with or how much I would end up spending. I also didn't know how long it would take to sell the products. That's when I switched and started doing the same thing but online. Now, I would use apps to find deals and glitches on store websites like Walmart.com and Target.com, Lowe's, or Home Depot. Again, this was time consuming, but at least I wasn't driving right to the store anymore, right? Eventually, I realized that this business model was not sustainable for the business goals that I had. I mean, it was okay if I was simply doing this as a hobby, but I wasn't looking for more hobbies. I needed something that was reliable and could scale into a bigger business. Now, even though the name sounds cool, in my experience, here are some difficulties most of us experience with retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. First, like I mentioned before, I spent way too much time finding deals to resell, trying to figure out what's profitable and what's not, where to look, where not to look, what days to shop, what days not to shop. And after all that work, I could still end up with products that don't sell or sit on my shelf for months. The second thing was I spent way too much time researching the competition and the current product rank because this is what the gurus out there will teach you to do. The third thing is marketplaces frequently throw abrupt, unannounced restrictions. Example, in October of, I believe it was 2016, Amazon Seller Performance suddenly announced that it will no longer be accepting receipts as proof for anything. So this means that if you sold a name brand item on Amazon and you had a counterfeit claim from a buyer, you cannot use a purchase receipt as proof of authenticity anymore. This in turn means that your account could get suspended without any warning at all. So let's say you could have bought a Bluetooth speaker from Walmart, right? You resold it on Amazon, and if a naive buyer decided to report it as counterfeit, you're basically screwed. They will not accept your Walmart receipt as proof of authenticity. The fourth thing is that brand restrictions have increased and become even more common. Well-known brands are legally challenging Amazon to protect them from third-party sellers. Sellers will need to be pre-approved for many brands and prove that they are selling from authentic sources, or prove that they are authorized distributors. If you are selling overstock items, this is an easy fix because you are buying from authentic sources. Number 5, the biggest challenge that I faced was the customer return nightmare. Now let me explain this. 1, a buyer orders your retail arbitrage or online arbitrage product, let's say a portable hard drive valued at $250. You buy it from the store and ship it today. B, the store gives you a 15-day or even a 30-day return policy. The marketplace dictates that you provide a 45-day return period for your buyer. Worse still, your buyer's credit card company or PayPal gives them 90-day protection. Remember in a previous episode, I went over what a chargeback period is. So keep in mind, like I explained in that episode, your return policy won't save you here. And C, so on day 44, your buyer files a complaint or a chargeback and is instructed to return the item to you for an automatic refund, right? So they returned a used, maybe even a defective product to you. Your merchant processor or PayPal refunds them automatically from your account. And then D, you're out of the cost of the product, the cost of shipping it, plus you are left with the product you can't return or maybe you can't even resell it. Now that to me was the biggest challenge that I faced with this business model. You could do all the preliminary work, research and find the product, list it, sell it, and then the customer returns it in damaged condition and after the return period. So again, you're screwed, right? Here's the funny thing that happened once my Overstock business started flowing. I started selling to a ton of arbitrage sellers. They were now buying from me to resell to their buyers. And it was pretty easy to tell because the order would come in with instructions like, do not include a packaging ship, do not include a receipt, or maybe do not include a return address. Or the same buyer would buy over and over but have the product shipped to different addresses. The thing is, I didn't care. As long as they were paying my full asking price and my profits were off the charts, hey, to each his or her own, right? Now, let's discuss drop shipping a bit. Just to recap, so this is when you sell a product, you purchase the item from a third party, and you have it shipped directly to the customer. As a result, you never see or actually handle the product yourself. Now, despite all of the hype you hear online, like, just sign up for $39.99 and we'll give you a ready-made website, or you don't have to buy any products, just sign up for free. I also tried this when I launched my first website, and it sounds pretty easy, right? But not so fast. Here's what the drop shipping gurus don't tell you. Here are a few harsh truths that I learned in the process. Number one, drop shipping has low profit margins, okay? Low profit margins being between 15 to 20% at most, okay? The suppliers charge a separate fee called a dropship fee for labor, packaging, and logistics. You pay much higher prices than buying wholesale, and after you subtract all expenses like shipping and all of your fees, things start to look really bleak. Now, the guru's solution to this, charge higher prices or negotiate a better deal with your supplier. Good luck with that, by the way. The issue here is that in order for a supplier to take your request seriously, you should have given them a decent amount of business already. So here are the numbers based on a 15 to 20% gross profit before expenses. If you have a margin of 15% on a $100 item, meaning you make $15 per sale, it may not be worth your while to operate an entire store and just get 30 to 40 orders a month. Sadly, most sites get less than 30 or 40 orders a month. In fact, most sites don't sell at all. And don't even consider taking those tiny profit margins to eBay or Amazon. You'll get jaded really quickly. Harsh truth number two is there is a very tough advertising landscape when it comes to drop shipping, okay? One, drop shipping doesn't work well with marketplaces like eBay and Amazon due to the stiff pricing competition. You'll see prices on eBay for the same items you're trying to sell and wonder, how on earth do those sellers even make a living? Second, to set up a drop shipping business, you need your own website. And to sell on your own website, you need to advertise your product using pay-per-click ads like Google AdWords, Bing ads, or Facebook ads. That's all good, except keywords are pretty pricey, anywhere from 40 cents to $1.50 to even $4 or $5 per click. Remember, you are still operating on that 15% profit margin. Now, what's the guru's solution to this? Use other traffic sources. Use organic, social, referrals, emails, and word of mouth. Build your email list. Guest post and build links to increase your SEO. Develop a content strategy and blog to drive traffic, or ramp up your email marketing. And most importantly, create happy customers that refer you to their friends and family. Now, these are all good ideas on paper, but they are really slow-moving efforts that take time that you don't have. Harsh truth number three is that there's just simply too much competition. In theory, and if it works, drop shipping is easy. So easy that anyone, including you and I, could set up a store and start fulfilling products right away. As such, it creates a problem. Everyone, including you and I, end up selling the same products. There are also hundreds of people all vying to get the customer's attention, and the market is already really crowded. And three, not to mention that there's already giants like Amazon and Walmart selling the same stuff or similar stuff too. Now, what do the gurus say to that? Their solution is, be the best of the best. Seriously, that's it. Don't even know what to tell you here, guys. So basically, you need to be better than Walmart, Amazon, and eBay combined to solve this problem. Harsh truth number four is customer service and quality control is a gamble, okay? Adding a third party to the sales process will inevitably leave room for errors to arise, whether it's an issue with shipping, missing items, low quality, or damaged products. As the seller, it will be your responsibility to rectify the mistakes in order to manage or rectify your business reputation. And this can be frustrating when you are being blamed for something that is not your fault because you are relying on a third party to fulfill your customers' orders. So what is the guru's solution to this? They say, have excellent customer service. They also say you may not have control over what's going on with the product itself, but you do have control over the customer's entire experience from finding your site, navigating it, making a purchase, and any follow-up if needed. Now, I just don't know how you can pacify a customer if the product is poor quality. Your website and service could be impeccable, but the other aspects may not be. Harsh truth number 5 is product delivery, also known as fulfillment issues, right? So this is where I had the most difficulties with dropshipping. 1, you run into supplier errors. Your store may say a product is in stock, but by the time you fulfill it, the supplier has run out of it. So now you have to either refund or explain this to your buyer. This alone is the biggest reason dropshipping doesn't work on eBay and Amazon. Canceling orders frequently will get you suspended or banned almost instantly. The second thing is that you could have a disorganized or a laid-back supplier that just likes to take his time doing things easy, from shipping the products when he feels like it and spending a whole day or two after you've sent the order to them to get the order actually out the door. And the customer gets impatient and wonders why they don't have a tracking number yet. The third thing is shipping complexities. Now, if you work with multiple drop shipping suppliers, as most online sellers do, the products on your website will be sourced through a number of different drop shippers. This complicates your shipping cost, right? You can suffer multiple shipping costs from those suppliers if a customer makes a purchase from each of them in one order. Remember, the customer doesn't know they're buying from multiple people. They think they're buying directly from you. Now, it's foolish to pass those charges on to the customer, so you will need to absorb those charges. It will also mean that the customer receives goods in different packages and at different times, which may not create such a good image for your business. You really have no control unless you stock the items yourself. And the fourth thing is dealing with customer returns. This can be very complicated, and here's an example why. During the holiday or gift-giving season, retailers have realized that most people shop early. So the standard 30-day period doesn't work. What most retailers do is have an extended return period, normally between, I think it's 60 to 90 days. Now on eBay, it's almost required that all sellers accept the quote extended holiday return. So say you have a 30-day return window from your dropship vendor, and when your buyer returns your item on the 89th day later, you are caught between a rock and a hard place. Now, this same situation happens if someone files a credit card chargeback claim on you. What's the guru's solution to this? Their solution is to tell the customer that the lead time from purchase to shipment is a little longer and hopefully that they'll wait. Seriously, I mean, in this day and age with instant gratification, you want to tell people to wait even longer? Good luck with that. FYI, this quote, solutions, assumes that you have no competition and your customer is actually willing to be patient. All right, so finally, let's discuss private labeling. A private label product is manufactured by a third-party manufacturer and sold under your brand name. In a nutshell, you would need to research and find a top-selling product on Amazon. Then you would find an overseas manufacturer or supplier, usually in China, and you would then brand the product under your own name and resell it on Amazon. Now, here are the difficulties with private labeling. First, you already know private labeling is quite expensive to get going, whether it's the research required, the production costs, logistical, or manufacturing headaches. Second, private label products takes a while to gain traction. Marketing your private label product is not as easy as the quote gurus make it sound. You know, pay-per-click, SEO, or even Facebook ads can get pretty pricey pretty fast. FYI, when selling Overstock products, you never have to advertise or market your products. And when you join Overstock Academy, you'll notice that there is no module on advertising. This is because it's not necessary. You basically let your products sell themselves. Why? Because people are already looking for them. There's no need to reinvent the wheel, right? Now, even if you get all the above correct, your private label product might still be a total flop and you are left with piles of inventory in your basement or garage. I have a friend who actually did this and ended up jaded. He wound up going back to his 9 to 5 eventually, but on the bright side, we all ended up getting private label knife blocks for Christmas. Now, if you are successful and score an absolute hit of a private label product, which is the whole reason you go through all of this torture in the first place, right? You will then end up selling it on someone else's platform or marketplace at first in order to gain some traction. And here's where it gets treacherous. Marketplaces like Amazon, Sears, or Walmart, they're retailers too, and they're always studying you and other third-party sellers, and they are constantly identifying popular products and stocking it themselves. There are at least 19 brands that Amazon owns and doesn't operate under the Amazon brand name, from lingerie brand Arabella to furniture brand Strathwood. Now, in October of 2017, I believe, Amazon rolled out private label sportswear brands, including Good Sports, which competes with Champion, Rebel Cannon, and Peak Velocity. Eventually, they will launch their own private label products to most categories, and it's the little private label guys who will get squeezed out first, sadly. Now, the large brands that sell on Amazon are feeling it too. I recently read an article where a representative of a major brand that works with Amazon said, quote, "When you work with Amazon, it is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. They'll milk you out of info about your business and category. Then they'll go and build a private label brand on their own and maybe even use your manufacturing facilities to make it happen." You see, my friends, private label brands and store brands have always been there in grocery stores, drug stores, hardware stores, yet name brands always outsell them. Why? Because buyers still have more trust in name brands. They'll even pay more for known brands as opposed to private label brands that are unknown to them. Now, when I started out a few years ago, FBA and private labeling were just starting to become popular. Retail arbitrage and online arbitrage was at its peak. Everyone was talking about it and how amazing it was, and people actually made a lot of money that way. I made some, but nothing to write home about. But the whole time this party was happening, the smart nerd, Amazon, was in the corner of the room watching and taking notes. The funny or sad thing is that a few of us saw all of this coming, and that was why when I built my business, I took the less popular road at the time. I set up a system that would eventually be less reliant or totally independent of these marketplaces. I used subtle tactics and took my time with it. Now, I eventually got to a point where my eBay and Amazon store were almost being used as a marketing tool feeding my website, where I had more control, right? And I'm sure that's where you want to be too. Am I right? We can help get you there. So while a successful private label product may have amazing profit margins, the journey from idea to success is much harder, more treacherous, and uncertain. Overstock sourcing got me there faster for a number of reasons. One, the brands are recognizable. If I say, let's say Keurig or Sony, Lego, or Nerf to you, you instantly have an idea of what I'm referring to. Second, I never had to advertise or market my products. I let my products sell themselves. I probably could have marketed and made more, but I was doing pretty well already, so I didn't need to do that. The third thing, like you know by now, I paid less for the products than the large retailers actually paid for them, so I could aggressively compete on price at any time. The fourth thing is some of the products that are sent to Amazon FBA as well as Amazon's own on-sold products end up in the overstock market too at pennies on the dollar. Yes, that is correct. I have bought Amazon liquidation truckloads several times and resold the products right on Amazon itself. So I promised you some insider perspective on thrifting. I have to admit, I didn't learn about this until I was deep into my overstock business. When I was sourcing products to resell from local thrift stores, I wish I had this information then. So the largest thrift stores like Salvation Army, Goodwill, which are ripe with retail arbitrage deals, don't rely wholly on donations, as many people might think. Think about it. If this was the only source of products for them, they couldn't maintain the over 4,000 stores that they have between them, and that's in the US only. So where do they get most of their products from? I actually know this for a fact. They also source their products from the overstock industry. In fact, they buy heavily from one of my recommended sources that we provide at Overstock Academy. In essence, they are the middleman too. So when you go buying from them to resell online, you are technically buying from a middleman rather than going directly to the source. So Overstock Nation, that was my reply to Paul's email. And his response to my reply was as follows. Hi, Amy. Wow, what a fantastic and thorough response. It would make a great video training. I have purchased dozens of training programs in the past, but never ever has anyone taken as much time addressing my questions. And you kept your commitment of getting back to me by the end of the weekend. Great job. Now, we get this type of feedback quite a bit, actually. If you talk to Overstock Academy members, they will tell you that they receive kick-ass support from my team and I. Like we say at Overstock Academy, our only horse in this race is you and your success. You are our one and only focus. All right, my friends, so that is going to wrap up season 1 of this podcast. We will be launching season 2 in a few weeks, in which we will feature interviews with Overstock industry experts like vendors, other top online sellers, and be sure to subscribe to receive email notifications at overstockacademypodcast.com/120. I do have one important announcement before we wrap up today. We are in the process of updating the Ultimate Store Overstock course. The latest edition will be going live in the next few weeks. The price will also be going up. However, all of our current members will be getting all of the updates and upgrades for free, and the membership is a lifetime membership. So if you haven't joined yet and would like to check it out, go to overstockacademypodcast.com/120, then click on the link at the bottom of that page. That will take you to the free 7-day trial of our most popular course. Like I've said before, we don't even ask for your credit card to access the trial. It is a true free trial and it's totally worth checking out. But you can also sign up right away to lock in your spot. We are here to take you from selling slow-moving, low-demand products to in-demand, name-brand products. We show you techniques that, if done right, your products will basically sell themselves. And that is how we will take you from an amateur online seller to an elite online seller in just 8 weeks or less.